Now on CoastTV News.
This is Senate Bill 159, why people feel the legislation is government overreach.
Inlet erosion, Mother Nature setback to a major project.
And speaking of Mother Nature, we're going to deal with her muggy attitude, a muggy situation up for this work week. More on that coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
You're looking at the retired Indian River power plant. What could go next to it that has people in Sussex County talking? Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Christina DeRobertis. Charlie Sakaitis has the night off.
The land is the subject of one piece of legislation. The bill and others are sparking strong opinions throughout Sussex County. CoastTV News reporter Zakia Jennings in the newsroom. Zakia, people say the bills go too far.
Maddie, Senate Bill 159 would override the Sussex County Council's denial of U.S. Wind's application. It's one bill that Senator Brian Pettyjohn says threatens home rule, which is the idea that decisions about land use and zoning should be made at the local level. Sherry Long, a longtime Georgetown community member, is one of many people CoastTV has spoken with about home rule and the possible reversal of a Sussex County Council decision.
If you have senators from Newcastle County telling people in farmland, Sussex County, or beachland, Sussex County, what they may or may not do, that's wrong. They don't know the difference between Wilmington and the farm of Sussex.
In 2024, Sussex County Council denied U.S. Wind's application to build a new electric substation for power cables from its offshore wind turbines. Senate Bill 159 would require conditional land use applications be accepted for substations located on unincorporated land if the proposed facility meets a specific set of conditions. Carolyn Fidgen says when it comes to the environment, there's no such thing as government overreach.
It's for the benefit of everybody, not just the beach people or, I've traveled all over and there's wind power all over the world. We are so far behind.
Long says this sets a precedent for future legislation.
If you think that this is someone else's issue, someone else's problem, then the fact of the matter is you've misunderstood what the big picture is for this entire debacle that we are looking at this moment, which is called SB 159.
The Senate reconvenes on Tuesday. Other bills that are raising eyebrows and questions are Senate Bills 87 and 75. 87 would require towns and homeowners associations to allow secondary housing units or accessory dwelling units on single-family lots. 75 limits local authority over marijuana businesses. Back to you.
More information on Senate Bill 159. Like you heard from Zakia, it's back on the agenda in Dover tomorrow. And again, that bill would force approval of a permit to allow U.S. Wind to build an electric substation near the power plant. A vote is possible during tomorrow's Senate session. That's scheduled to start at 2 p.m. We have much more right now. Just head over to coasttv.com.
New tonight, state police are looking for a man they say assaulted a teenager at the movies at Midway. Troopers say a 14-year-old boy was recording on his phone in the men's bathroom when a man you see here walked in with two kids. Police say they got into an argument. Then the man pushed the teen twice, as you can see on your screen right now, knocking him down. Police say the boy was not hurt. Delaware State Police are looking to identify the man involved.
The $28 million project slowly going away. We're talking at the Indian River Inlet, where waves are inching ever so closer to the highway once again on the north side. In August 2024, ocean waves broke through the dunes on the north side all the way to the highway. Then came months of repairs that involved adding more sand via pipes and planting dune grass to help stabilize and prevent erosion. Although the grass is still there, most of the sand is gone and locals are worried.
It's unfortunate with the storms that come in here that the sand, I think, is going to continue to erode, so there needs to probably be a more permanent fix at some point.
According to DENREC, the Army Corps of Engineers plans to go through with the second phase of the Nourishment Project, which involves pumping an additional 300,000 cubic yards of sand.
In Rehoboth Beach today, City Manager Taylor Tedder opted out of a potential raise. According to Mayor Stan Mills, all Rehoboth Beach employees, including Tedder, have the chance every year to increase their salary based on performance. That's anywhere from 0 to 3%. Tedder did not move forward with a raise, his reasoning to, quote, create goodwill in the community, unquote. And you may remember his $250,000 salary and hiring package drew ire and even a Freedom of Information Act complaint. This does bring us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know how you think politicians should handle transparency concerns.
Anyone in government. Let's take a look at the results so far. 81% say full disclosures. 3% say policy updates, 8% say external review, and 8% say public forums.
And we want to know what you think on this one, so head over to coasttv.com or use our mobile app and you can vote.
State Representative Brian Shoup is urging Milford City Council to request developer accountability in the Hearthstone Manor community you see here. Shoup says the neighborhood has dealt with unacceptable road conditions for years, and now he's calling for infrastructure improvements before approving any future development. We spoke with one person living there who says if conditions keep up, she might have to move.
If there's a car coming in the opposite direction, I have to stop and make sure that their car has passed before I can go around those holes or problems in the road.
Last year, the House passed a bill which makes it so developers can't leave conditions like this, but some developments like Hearthstone Manor were before that law. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Dover as we check in with our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams on our weather. Good evening, Paul.
Good evening, Maddie. And for today, we've become very muggy. You walk outside, it almost feels like a wall of ugh is greeting you at the door. Well, that ugg's going to turn into some rain for tomorrow. Our dry tech camera, Ocean City, 70 degrees. Winds out of the east, 9 miles per hour. Here's a look at what's happening with our precipitation right now, non-existent. But we do have a good deal of moisture that's hovering over the east coast and the northeast in general, giving us that ugh feeling. Now, as far as this evening's concerned, we are going to drop down to like 70 degrees by 9 o'clock, and then we're looking for scattered cloud cover with increasing cloud cover going into the late night, early morning hours as temperatures are going to stay pretty much in the 60s. We've had some rain from earlier this morning, nearly an inch in some areas, and we'll go over that in more detail, and we'll talk about more rain on the way for Tuesday.
Thank you, Paul. Well, areas of downtown Los Angeles are locked down this evening. Police and National Guard deployed after a weekend of violence there. NBC's Jay Gray shows us how protesters, LA's mayor, and the governor of California are demanding an end to sweeping immigration raids by federal agents.
Burned out cars, broken glass, and debris litter the streets of downtown Los Angeles. Remnants from a weekend of violence. Thousands of protesters, police, and the National Guard squaring off as sweeping immigration raids continue across the city.
What ICE did the last couple of days is make Los Angeles safer by taking public safety threats off the street.
Dozens have been detained. Family members speaking publicly for the first time today say most are simple, hard-working laborers.
I'm here today on behalf of my father and the dozens of families who were kidnapped by ICE. I witnessed how they put my father in handcuffs, chained him from the waist and from his ankles.
She says the detainees haven't been allowed to communicate with lawyers or their families.
Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
California Governor Gavin Newsom accusing the president of manufacturing a crisis, federalizing 2,000 of the state's National Guard soldiers, deploying around 300 so far. A move being challenged now in court.
I, in partnership with Governor Gavin Newsom, are suing President Trump. Trump and Hegseth ignored law enforcement's expertise and guidance and trampled over our state's, California's, sovereignty.
Undeterred, President Trump says the raids and show of force will continue.
We're going to have troops everywhere.
500 California-based Marines now on standby, ready to move in. Jay Gray, NBC News, Los Angeles.
To Washington, President Trump returned to the White House today for a roundtable promoting his Trump accounts covered under the, quote, one big beautiful bill. Trump highlighted an item in his bill a promise to put $1,000 into investment accounts for American children born before the end of his second term. While many support the investment, it does add to the hefty price tag of the president's signature legislation, due in part to its significant tax cuts. Still, most Republicans are siding with Trump and standing by the bill.
I didn't go out to craft a piece of legislation to please the richest man in the world. What we're trying to do is help hardworking Americans who are trying to provide for their families and make ends meet.
The Congressional Budget Office says the spending package would add $2.4 trillion to the deficit.
Israel has intercepted a Gaza-bound aid ship carrying Greta Thunberg and other prominent activists. The activists say they were taken illegally against their will by Israeli forces. Israel has repeatedly vowed to stop the aid boat from reaching Gaza. Coming up, assessing the health of the Chesapeake Bay. The new report card set to be unveiled this week in Maryland.
We are expecting steamy showers ahead on Tuesday. Details on that coming right up.
But first, students at Millsboro Middle wrapped up the year with a big project. See how they brought history to life in 2 languages? Up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
6th, 7th, and 8th graders from the Spanish Immersion Program at Millsboro Middle School, they've recently held a social studies fair, and students showcased their projects about geography, civics, and economics, and American history.
Telemundo Del Marva and Coast TV News reporter Ana Sofia Roman takes us through the fair and shows us what it meant for everybody.
75 poster boards and 3D physical projects in the auditorium at Millsboro Middle School, all showcasing students' hard work and creativity in both English and Spanish. Some projects were about Mount Everest, the economy of Grotto Pizza, and the 3 branches of the government. Raúl Hernández Barrios, an 8th grader, did his project about the Holocaust.
I was just shocked to know that they have been killing much, especially since they just separated the men, children, women.
These projects that you see on both sides took students about 3 weeks to complete between their research, making the trifold, and then building the 3D physical project.
They had an amazing time. It was difficult for them. Researching in English and in Spanish is very difficult, just like the school year was. Learning content of social studies in 2 languages is a little bit difficult, but they stepped up and they did an amazing job, as you saw. I'm really proud of them. I really am.
Ending the school year doing a deep dive on social studies. In Millsboro, Ana Sofia Roman, Coast TV News.
Here's a look at your Bay forecast. We're watching out for an outbreak of scattered showers and thunderstorms for Tuesday. Then we start heating up Wednesday and Thursday. More on your full forecast coming right up. It's a little bit on the muggy side right now. We're watching out for a stormy situation for Tuesday, and then the heat and humidity escalates tremendously as we go into the rest of the work week. So get your air conditioning units all warmed up because we're going to need them this week. Irish Eyes camera in Lewis holding at about 75 pleasant degrees. Now, we did receive some early morning rain. It might have rumbled and woke you up early this morning. We received more than 3/4 of an inch for us, 0.8 actually in Georgetown. But here's some of the other locations that received some impressive early morning rain. Prime Hook, Lewis, we had approaching a full inch of rain that hit there. Now just over half an inch in Harbison as well as Stokely, and then just shy of 1/4 of an inch in Slaughter Beach, and 0.17 or just over a tenth for us actually. Now we're at 80 for the high in Georgetown as well as Salisbury, 1 degree warmer than that in Cambridge, and 76 for the high in Ocean City. Here's where we are right now. We're at 80 degrees right now in Bridgeville as well as Milford, but 10 degrees cooler than that in Lewis right now as we speak, 77 in Long Neck. Visibility totally clear at this point, but we are watching out for a little fog later on. I bring that up because take a look at our dew point temperatures really soaring into the 60s. This is a perfect setup for an ornery summer storm that just pop up for tomorrow because we have a system that's moving in for tomorrow. And it's a fast moving system, but we're not dealing with one complex system that's pushing through. We have a mixture of warm and cool air. So it's more of a stationary boundary and a low pressure system that's right off the coast. The counterclockwise rotation is going to bring in some influx of additional moisture. But it's this line right here that's being propagated by the cold front. That's the one that's going to give us that kickstart to a possible thunderstorm for tomorrow. Overnight, we're quiet. We're cloudy, but we're quiet. 70 for the overnight low, Redden as well as Georgetown. Breaking down our expectations for tomorrow, look for that rain to kick off at 8 o'clock, really come into its full fruition by noon, lunchtime, and then it falls off by 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. Look at the heat that we're going to have in place, though. 82 for the high in Lewis, Georgetown, Millsboro, Laurel. Then we're going to warm to 80 degrees in Cambridge, 82 in Vienna. And then we warm up to 82 degrees in Snow Hill, Berlin, as well as Pocomoke City. Along the coast, we're looking at 78 in Rehoboth Beach, 82 in Ocean City. So everybody's watching out for a chance of morning showers or thunderstorms. You see, for the early morning hours, we stay clear. We see a little peak of sunshine. If that happens between Long Neck, Shelbyville, and Bethany Beach, that'll set up for those spotty showers that look not so threatening right now to blossom into something a little more serious. And then as we go into Tuesday, by 6 o'clock, between Pocomoke City and Snow Hill at about 6 o'clock, this is the most impressive cell that we see that we're tracking with our early model runs on what we anticipate for tomorrow. The winds are not all that impressive, up to about 22 miles per hour. The other thing I need you to be mindful of is the UV index. We're going to go up to a level of 9 for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Now that's after the rain clears out, so that's going to be serious. So recapping, damp and muggy tonight with a patchy fog. 81 for tomorrow with spotty showers. Then Wednesday, in kicks in the sunshine, the heat, and the humidity. Taking a look at that wasn't supposed to be there, but that's okay. I'm having one of those days, guys. Where's my extended forecast? Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show it to you next time.
All right. Thank you again, Paul. We'll look out for it next time. Well, the health of the Chesapeake Bay and its watershed is set to be evaluated in a new report. The University of Maryland Center for Environmental Science will release its report card on the bay. Researchers there assessed ecosystem conditions as well as societal and economic aspects. Officials say the new report will help inform policy and environmental management throughout the Chesapeake Bay region. In 2024, the bay and watershed earned a score of C+.
Good news for boaters and fishermen in Millsboro. Ingram's Pond boat ramp is reopened. For 4 months, Denrick has worked on this facility, adding a new ramp, courtesy dock, and parking. Tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 8, boys basketball with Y-High and Bennett. At 10, it's post time, followed by the final score. Then over on the DSN Plus app, 2 games in Maryland Supreme Boys Basketball League, both taking place at 6:15.
Coming up, preparations underway for the D.C. Military Parade. The millions of dollars officials say the parade will cost. Stay tuned on Coast TV News at 5.
A military parade will be held June 14th as a celebration of the U.S. Army's 250th birthday in D.C. Some of the 130 military vehicles that will take part arrived today in Maryland. Plus, there will be more than 50 helicopters featured in an extensive flyover in the nation's capital. The effort has sparked concerns about how the roads in D.C. will fare under the literal weight. The Army Corps is reinforcing roads.
Yeah, we are one step closer to getting everything staged at West Potomac Park for the Army's 250th birthday.
The parade, which coincides with President Trump's 79th birthday, will cost an estimated $45 million.
New tonight, actor and director Justin Baldoni's lawsuit against Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds has been dismissed. A New York judge dropped the $400 million defamation lawsuit against the Hollywood couple. The legal battle stemmed from the film It Ends With Us that Baldoni directed and co-starred in with Lively. Lively sued Baldoni for sexual harassment. This countersuit, now dropped, alleged that the actress and her husband sought to destroy Baldoni and his career.
College athletes no longer have to rely on outside companies to get paid for their image and likeness. A federal judge approved a settlement that allows schools to pay their athletes directly. The settlement establishes a 10-year revenue sharing model schools can use to pay athletes. It starts next month.
Now here's a live look outside into Ocean View. We'll have one more check on the forecast coming up next.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, an exclusive interview with Senator Russ Huxtable, why he says he has still not spoken with his counterpart in the House, Stell Parker-Selby, as she remains absent from Legislative Hall.
Here is your 10-day forecast. Listen, we're looking for 81 degrees for Tuesday and thunderstorms for us, mainly in the morning and mid-morning, just before lunchtime, around lunchtime. Then it should go away, and then we start getting really muggy. 84, 88, 87, before another round of rain hits. And on Father's Day, let's not wait till the last moment. Let's hook Dad up like we do Mom.
All right, Paul, thank you, and thanks for joining us here for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news and local weather, you can download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.